everybody, my name is Kelly Joyner. I'm the team leader at UCLA, University of California, Los Angeles. And I'm also, this year, get the privilege to work as an assistant with the performing arts team at Urbana 15. I'm also the script editor, and so I get to look through the scripts and see if there's any small words I would tweak or things that I would change. I also help the actors learn their lines and remember them and cue them sometimes if they need it. And I'm excited to share with you some of the things that I've been learning. I've also, the last several years, been being mentored by Allison Sewart, the director of the Urbana Performing Arts. And she's been coaching me in how to start theater ministry at UCLA, at the campus I lead. And so we've been learning a lot over the last several years, and so I'd love to share some of that with you. Theater can tell a story that any speaker and just giving a talk can't do. We have the best story to tell, and so we want to tell it in the best way we can. And theater makes it sticky and brings people into the gospel in ways that nothing else can. When I was a student, I realized, or I thought that I couldn't do theater with InterVarsity. And the reason that I got hung up was because I didn't know, there were no scripts available. And so all the scripts out there were cheesy and didn't fit what we were doing. And every time I tried to write a script, the speaker would say, "Oh, that doesn't fit, we can't do that." And so I just got discouraged. But what I learned with the Urbana theater team is that one of the most important parts of doing theater is actually writing the script. And so I thought I was an actress, and I thought that was my strongest gift, and I thought if someone could just write a piece for me, then I could perform it. But over time, God began to show me, actually, you're more of a writer, and that writing is really important. The first step in having theater connected with your fellowship meeting or your gathering is to actually find writers and develop them. And the other thing that would get me stuck would be we try to get a bunch of writers and dancers and actors in the same room and about 12 people trying to write a script, and it didn't really work. You didn't get the best of what you could produce. And so what I've learned through Allison is actually better defining who gets what role. And so having somebody be the writer, having somebody be the director, and having someone be an actor, someone be a dancer, and that can merge and that can blend in between, but at least when starting out, having that a little bit more clearly defined and honoring the writers in that as well is really important. Some of the things that we've learned on our campus is to first define the roles, and then we created a team and we define who's going to be the writer, who's going to be actors, who's going to learn and work on dancing, who's going to work on spoken word, and really tried to refine that and make it excellent in all those places. And then whoever's doing the writing has to be in direct contact with the speaker right from the beginning. And so as soon as the speaker starts studying the scripture, the writers need to start studying the scripture as well, so that the things they're pulling out of the text can merge together. And so we'll study the scripture together and then pull out different truths and then work on themes that you can find. Some things that have been helpful for me to get started is to begin looking for characters and getting into their shoes. And so in the same way that we study Mark, we do manuscript study, we try to get into the shoes of the characters in the story. And you can pull out a monologue, or even it can be a really obscure person that nobody ever thinks about, an unnamed person. Like at Urbana, the guy he had a name, but the guy who was carrying the cross for Jesus. We don't usually hear stories from him or hear monologues about him, but so there's space for imagination to think, oh, what would that be like if I were in that story, just observing from the background? And you can create a piece from that. Once you've studied the scripture and you have some kind of idea of where you want to run with it, then that's also a place where you can push it to other people. So often I've written a piece, or I haven't written a piece, but I've thought, I want to give a talk and I want a space where can someone create a dance that gets at this theme? or gets at this particular part of the story, and then I'll give it to a dancer and say, would you do that? Or there'll be a song that comes to mind and say, oh, this really fits the topic of the night and the themes I'm finding from the scripture, so could you create a dance to that piece of music? Or a spoken word could be a similar thing. Find a great spoken word artist and then just get one hook from where it's going to fit into the night and let them go with it. Can also work as well.